This is Deb from ASVAB Tutoring. I'm an aerospace engineer and I have been helping people to pass the test past 5-6 years with a great success. So a lot of time people ask, what should I study to pass the ASVAB, especially for the math section. So I try to put some video that will help you to handle this math section, both arithmetic reasoning and math knowledge, to get high score. So let's get started and what I have been working on to give you guys an idea of what you should study. All right, the first thing you need to study the multiplication table. Make sure that you know the multiplication table very well, from 2 to 10 at least. All right, so if you know the multiplication table, you are good. Okay, so now let's start with some basic operation you should know before you take the test. Let's start with addition. So say like I have 7 7 8 9 5. I want to add 3 2 1 2, right? So if you want to add two numbers together, make sure that you line up. Okay, listen carefully and try to write everything on my screen. It will help you a lot. Trust me, it'll help you a lot. All right. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 9 plus 1 is 10. 0, carry 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. 1, carry the 1. 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So that is 11,107 if you add 7 8 9 5 with 3 2 1 2. Now let's see how to subtract two numbers. Okay, so let's do this. So you have keep that in mind. Whenever you subtract, make sure that you put the top number, the bigger one. Okay, so bigger, if you put the bigger number on the bottom, you're wrong. Okay, and also make sure that you line up the digits. All right, so let's do it. So 7 8 9 5. Now subtract the same thing, whatever I wrote the other side. 3 2 1 2, right? So now subtract 5 minus 2 is 3. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. 7 minus 3 is 4. Okay, good. So now let's do a little bit different subtraction. So let's do that. So you have say like you have 7 0 0 1 2, right? Minus 9 8 7 6, right? So normally you cannot subtract a big number from a small number. In order to handle those, you need to borrow from your neighbor. So if you borrow from your neighbor, that become 12 and that becomes 0, right? So now you could subtract 12 minus 6 is just 6. Now you cannot subtract 7 from 0, so you need to do the same thing, borrow from the next door. So that become 10. Your neighbor did not have anything, go to the next door, that become 9 and that become 6. Now you could easily subtract. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 9 is 0, and this is 6. Make sense? So yeah, now let's move to the next topics is multiplication. So this is like simple, so let's do it. So if you want to multiply two numbers, as I mentioned before, make sure that you know the multiplication table. That is the key, right? So let's do that. 7 8 3 times 25. Okay, so 5 times 3 is 15. 5, carry 1. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 1 is 41. 1, carry 4. 5 times 7 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. Now put a 0 underneath of that. So now multiply 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 2 is 16. 6, carry 1. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So now you need to add. Use it. Can you see? I lined up all these digits. So if you don't do that, you're wrong. Okay. So this is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 9 plus 6 is 15. 5 carry 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9, and on. So that is how to add. How to multiply two numbers together. So let's erase it and go to the next section. It takes a little bit longer time. Now let's learn how to do the division, like basic division. You have here 5 with 3, 5, 95, right? So if you want to divide, this is very important. A lot of people have a problem division. So make sure that you know how to divide numbers, okay? So now let's get started with division. So 5, right? So first take one digit with one digit. And make sure that this the right side one is bigger than the left side one. If it's not, take 2 digits. So now how many times 5 goes into 35? 5 goes into 35 is just 7 times, right? So so you need to multiply that now. 7 times 5 is just 35. Okay. Now bring 9. Let's keep that in mind. Bring one digit at a time. Don't try to bring everything, right? One digit at a time. Okay. So now let's keep doing that. So 9 and 5. So 5 goes into 9 is 1 time. Right here, 5. Right. So 9 minus 5 is just 4. Now bring another digit down. This is 5. So 5 goes into 45 is 9 times. So 9 times 5 is just 45. Okay. This is how to divide. So I have some practice problem at the end. Just practice all of them. It will help. Go to the next topic. So now let's talk about the fraction. A lot of people have problem with fractions. So let's get started with that as well. So let's start with the very simple fraction. Say have 1/3 plus 1/2. If you want to add two fractions together, the first thing, make sure that you have a common denominator. But if you don't have the common denominator, you could make it common denominator. But a lot of people say, okay, how can I make this common denominator, right? So there is the easy way. As I said, multiplication table, multiplication table, multiplication table. You have to know this, all right? So let's get it started. So read the 3 multiplication table and 2 multiplication table, right? So you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? If you look these two sets, so you could see like the least common number, so which is 6. Okay, so once you know this, do multiple times this problem, so you don't need to write this. So you basically will know what should be my common denominator, right? So let's get it started again. So the common denominator is 6 here. So now look, what should you multiply 3 to get 6? Multiply by 2, right? Do the same thing on the top to make it balance, right? So what do you need to multiply 2 to get 6 is 3. Multiply that by 3, right? So this is 2 times 1 is 2 and 3 times 1 is 3. So now you need to add straight across. Okay, so you just need to add only the top numbers, not the bottom. So 3 plus 2 is 5 out of 6. Okay, so this how to add two fraction together. Okay, let's do another one. So say like you have 7 and 1/2 plus 3 and 1/3. If you have a mixed number, always make this mixed number into improper fraction. Okay, so let's do that. So 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15 over 2 plus 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10 over 3. Okay, make this mixed number into improper fraction. Now follow the same way, the common denominator 6 here, 6 here. So multiply 2 by 3 by 3. So 3 times 15 is 45, and multiply that by 2, that by 2. So 10 times 2 is 20. So if you add them together, you'll have this is a 5 and this is a 6. That is 6 here. So now if you make this as a mixed number, just divide them. So you have 65 and 6. So 6 goes into 6 is one time, but you could go do one time in single shot. So 6 goes into 65 is 10 times is 60 and 5, that is 5 over 6. So that is the answer. Okay, makes sense. Just practice, write that down by yourself and do it. Okay, just make sure that you know it. This is not the exact thing you'll get in the test, but you'll give you the confidence. Okay, if this is the key, this is the basic operation you have to know in order to take the test and pass with high score. Okay, go next. All right, so now let's see how to subtract two fractions together. This is the same as adding fractions, right? This time just subtraction. Let's do 3/5 plus, not plus, I'm gonna do minus 1 over 10, right? So what is the common denominator in that case? So if you look at it in here, the 5 and 10, the common denominator will be 10. So I'm gonna show you again why like this. So people say, okay, it might be 50. No, this is 10. Okay, so let's go do the same thing I did before. This is 5 and 10, right? So you don't have to write all of them every time. So once you know, you know. So 5, 10, 15, 20, right? For the 10 is 10, 20, 30, 40, right? You see, this is the smallest common, right? This is the least common multiple. That's why, right? So now, what do we need to multiply 5 to get 10? Multiply that by 2, that by 2, that by 1, that by 1. So 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. So 6 minus 1, that will give you 5 over 10. And if you reduce it, so that will give you 1/2. Okay? Write that down. Practice by yourself. So now how to multiply fractions. So let's do that. So 5 and 1/2 times 3 and 1/3. Okay, I'm trying to give you like the similar type of problem that that will be easy for you to follow. Okay, so do that. Always make this mixed number into improper fraction and then multiply, right? So 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11 over 2 times 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10 over 3. So now here is the thing. If you want to multiply or divide, you don't have to make this common denominator. Just multiply straight across. Multiply top to top, bottom to bottom. So 11 times 10 is 110 over 6. Okay, so now let's divide 6 into 110. 6 goes into 11 1 times, 6 subtract it, 5, bring this 0 down. 6 goes into 50 how many times? 6 times 9 is 54. This goes 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48, right? So if you subtract it, you have 2 remainder. So as I said, how to make this mixed number, put a line. The remainder always go in the top. Okay, this number always go in the top. 2 over 6. But if you reduce it, you will get 18 and 1/3. Okay, all right. So now write that down, this problem, and try to do by yourself. Develop that confidence. So how to divide fraction? The same way. So you say like 8 and 1/2 divided by 1 over 4. Just make this mixed number into improper fraction. So 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17 over 2 divided by 1 over 4. The way how to divide fraction, I came up with a formula. I did not come up with this, but I know this one. So that is called a Kentucky Fried Chicken formula, KCF. It's not like KFC, but KCF. Okay. So what does it mean? That is keep, change, flip. Keep whatever you have in the left side. So I did that, 17 over 2. Change the sign. Change the sign division into multiplication, and then flip it. This is 4 over 1. So how we could multiply two fractions together? Multiply top to top, bottom to bottom. So 17 times 4 is 68. I already know. 2 times 1 is 2. Now same thing, divide. If you have an improper fraction, just divide. No question asked. Okay, do that. So do with 2 is 68. 2 goes into 3 is 2 goes into 6 is 3 times. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then bring this down, 8. 2 goes into 8 is 4 times, 8. When you divide a fraction, it is not necessary that always has to be a fraction. It could be a whole number. It doesn't matter. Okay, a lot of people get confused with that. I divide a fraction, but why I'm gonna getting a whole number? Yeah, you could get a whole number. Definitely you could get. Now let's learn how to convert from fraction to decimal. Okay, you have to learn this too. So say like you have 3 over 5. As I said, if you want to divide a fraction, listen carefully. If you want to divide a fraction, top number always go inside. I'm repeating again. Top number goes always inside. That is called TB, top divided by bottom. A lot of times people get confused with that. If you say like the big number in the bottom, they instantly put the big number inside the box. No, top number always go inside. 3 with 5. You see, I made a mistake. That is not right. Okay, people does that. So now go other way. So you have 5 with 3, right? So normally you cannot divide 3 by 5. So what you could do, you could put a decimal on the top. Because of this decimal, you have a superpower now. So you could bring 0 down, 1 0 at a time. Okay. So how many times 5 goes into 30 now? Just 6 times. So 6 times 5 is 30. Make sense? Excellent. Now go next, another one. So say like you have 1 over 8. How to make this 1 over 8 into a decimal? Let me go back. All right. 8 into 1, right? So normally same thing, you cannot divide 1 by 8, put a decimal, get a 0. 8 goes into 10 1 times is 8, subtract it 2, because of this decimal get another 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times, 8 times 2 is 16, subtract it 4, get another 0. You can keep getting 0 until you ended up. Okay, sometimes you cannot go like if this is like a repeating number, but keep going. Okay, now 8 goes into 40 is just 5 times is 40. Okay, so make sure that you know that, so you could put a 0 in the front. All right, very good. So next we'll learn how to add decimal the same way. Say like you have 7.325 plus 3.125. Same thing, make sure that you are lining up the decimals and then add, and then you could do so. 5 plus 5 is 10, 0, carry 1. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 1 is 4. Put the decimal. 7 plus 3 is 10. This is how to add decimal. Same, just make sure that you line up the decimal. Make sure that you know how to do this. That is the whole purpose. Subtract decimal, same way. So you have 7.102 minus 3.817. Okay, same way that I showed before. The subtract the regular numbers. So look at in here. So you cannot subtract 7 from 2. So what you need to do, same way, borrow from your neighbor, so that become 12, that become 9, and that become 0. So 12 minus 7 is 5, 9 minus 1 is 8. Now you cannot subtract 8 from 0, borrow from your neighbor, so that become 10, that becomes 7. So 8 minus is 10 minus 8 is 2, 7 minus 6 minus 3 is just 3. Make sense? Cool. So everything, take a notebook, write that down. Okay, just do multiple times before you take the test. I guarantee that you'll pass if you know all this basic operation. If you need some similar problems, so I put it in end of this video a set of problems, so just solve those. It will help you tremendously. So now let's learn how to multiply decimals. Say like you have 7.02 times 0.05, right? Okay, very good. So let me give you a trick here. Anytime you multiply decimals, first of all, let's forget about decimals. So if you forget about decimals, what do you have? So you have 702 times 5, right? So let's multiply 702 times 5. So 5 times 2 is 10, 0, carry 1. 5 times 0 plus 1 is 1. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, so now count after the decimal how many digits you have. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to count all the decimals. I mean all the digits after the decimal from top and bottom. Okay, so you have 4 digits, right? So put 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. So the answer is 0.3510. Okay, make sure that this concept is clear to you. A lot of people have problem with this. Now let's learn how to divide decimals. So let's do that. So 0.5 with 8.5. Now let's apply another trick how to handle this type of problem. So if you want to divide a number by decimal, try to get rid of the decimal from outside. How you could do that? You could move one decimal place in here. So and you have to do the same thing in here. So here, right? So what do you have now? Now you have 5 with 85. Now the decimals are gone. Don't worry about the decimal anymore. 5 goes into 8 one times 5, subtract it, you get 3. Bring this 5 down. 5 goes into 35 is, that's 7 times. So 7 times 5 is 35. Boom, done. Okay. So next thing we'll learn how to simplify fraction. I think I did a couple of times before when I add two mixed number together, but let me show you how to do that. Okay, make sure that you know how to do it. So say like I have 12 over 15. Simplify fraction means you need to find a number you could divide it top and bottom, right? So what is the number you could divide it top and bottom? So you start with 2. If you cannot go by 2, go 3, but don't like pick random numbers. So you start with 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that will be easy. But if you have a big number, then you could go and find a number that would be go both top and bottom. Okay, so now this time you could go 3, right? So 3. So make sure that you are putting like the same number top and bottom. That's important. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that is 4 over 5. So now let's learn new things. Percent. A lot of people have problem with the percent. So before we go into the detail of the problem, let me tell you what is percent. Very simple. This sign is percent. Is every 100. Per 100 is percent, right? Per 100. What is 5% coupon means? That means 5% coupon means $5 off in every $100. Okay, so how to make from percent to decimal? So say you have a 5%. If you want to make 5%, if you want to make from percent to decimal, you need to move 2 decimal places from right to the left. So you have 0.05. Okay, so make sure that you know percent very well, because you will say like at least 3 or 4 problem in real ASVAB from percentage. Okay, so make sure that you know. Now what is 3.5% will be in the decimal. The same thing, move 2 decimal places, 1 2, that is 0.035, right? Very good. So you know how to make from percent to decimal. So how to make from decimal to percent? So right here, so 0.15. So what percent is that? If you want to make from decimal to percent, you need to move 2 decimal places from left to the right, so that is 15%. Okay, so now if I say what is 5% of 300, okay, so what you need to do, you need to make this percent into decimal and then multiply. So just do that, 0.05. So if you forget about decimal and multiply, so you have this, that, and 3 times 5 is 15. You see after the decimal you have 2 digits, put the 2 decimal places. That's it, done. So make sure that you know the percent, how to make from decimal to percent, and then a fraction to decimal, decimal to percent. Okay, and some basic percent operation, you have to know that. So prime numbers. What is prime numbers? Prime numbers are the numbers you could divide it by 1 and itself. Okay, divided by 1 and itself. All the prime numbers are odd number. Okay, odd number except 2, because 2 is an even number. This is also a prime number. So let me write that down. So 1, then 2, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 11, right? So all these prime numbers, you see pick 11. What are the numbers you could divide 11 by? 11 divided by 1 equal to 11. 11 divided by 11 equal to 1. So that means you could divide it by 1 and itself. There is no other number in between that you could divide 11 by, right? So say like you have a 6. So you could divide a 6 divided by 3 equal to 2. 6 divided by 6 equal to 1. 6 divided by 2 equal 3, right? So you have multiple numbers you could divide it 6 by, right? So that is not a prime number. So prime number are the numbers you could divide it by 1 and itself. Okay, so make sure that you learn this prime number. You could write down the prime number from 1 through all the way to 50. It will help you a lot. Now square root. Okay, this is very simple. Square root over 81 equal to 9. Square root over 36 equal to 6. So make sure that you know how to do it. So say like give me an easy example. So square root over 36 plus square root over 49. What will be the answer? This question came a couple of times in the test before. So that is square root over 36 is just 6. Square root over 49 is just 7. So 7 plus 6 is just 13. So that is the answer. So make sure that you know that. So now let's talk about the area of a triangle, rectangle, square, and circle. So what is a rectangle? Rectangle is a 4-sided shape. Its opposite sides are the same. Okay, so this is length, this is width, right? So the area will be length times width, and the perimeter will be add all the sides. So as I said, the rectangle has the opposite sides, right? So let me write that down here, a number. So this is 6, this is 4. Okay, so this is the perimeter equal add all the sides, right? So if this one is 6 means this is also 6, this one is 4 means this one is also 4. So the perimeter will be 6 times 4 equal to 24. And the perimeter will be adding all the sides. 6 plus 6 is 12. 4 plus 4 is 8. So 12 plus 8 is just 20. Okay, that's how to find the area and perimeter of a rectangle. Now the square, area of a square, same thing. Square is a 4-sided shape. but it's all the sides are same. If this one is x, this one is x, this one is x, this one is x, right? So the area equal, say like this side is 8, so the area 8 will be 8 plus 8, sorry, 8 times 8 is 64. The perimeter will be adding all the sides 4 times, so that is 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, that is 32. Make sense? Okay, make sure that you know how to do these basic shapes, how to find the area and perimeter. Let me give you another example in here that comes very often in the test. So say like you have a square, the area equals 64. Okay, area is 64. You need to find one side of this square, that is x. So if you want to find one side, x equal to, you need to find the square root of the area, so that is 64. That gives you 8. So a lot of times they ask you to do this, and if you want to find the perimeter, do the same way. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so this problem actually come couple of times, not couple of times, lot of times. This is one of the question you could see in actual test. But as you know, ASVAB is not only one set, there are 6 or 7 different version of test. Okay, so if you know this basic operation, you should be good. So next thing, let's learn how to find the volume. So say this is length, this is width, and this is height. The volume will be b equal to length times width times height. So if this one is 10, this one is 5, this one is 10, so that is 10 times 10 times 5. So 10 times 10 is 100, times 5 is just 500. Okay, so make sure that you know how to do it. Okay, so you will see this type of problem in the test too. How to find the area of a triangle. The formula to find the area of a triangle, area equal to base times height divided by 2. This is base, this is height. So say like the base is, my base is 7 and my height is 4. So let's do that. So 7 times 4 divided by 2. So 7 times 4 is 28 divided by 2 equal to 14. So that is the answer. Okay, so make sure that you know how to find the area of a triangle. So now find the how to find the area of a circle. So before we find the area of a circle, let's learn some basic thing about the circle. So this is the diameter, this is the center, right? This is the diameter, this is center, this is the radius. So the radius of a circle equal to diameter divided by 2. Okay, area of a circle equal to pi times radius square. Okay, and the circumference equal to 2 pi times radius. Make sure that you know that. You'll see this type of problem in actual test. Okay, so say like I give this the diameter of this circle is 20. Let's find how to let's find the area and circumference. So area equal pi times radius square. So that gives you pi is 3.14 times my radius is here 20 divided by 2 is just 10. So that is 10 is square, right? So 3.14 times 10 times 10 is 100. So that is 314, right? So now let's find the circumference in here. C equal to 2 pi times radius. So 2 times 3.14 times 10. So that will give you 3 times 2 times 10 is 20 times 3.14. That will give you 62.8, I believe. Yeah, okay, very good. Make sure that you know that. Let's do multiple times. Watch this video multiple times and write that down before you take the test. Trust me, it will change everything. Factorials, right? How to find the factorials? So say like 5 factorials. This is exclamation sign is called factorial. So factorial, how to do that? So factorial 5 means you need to multiply 5 until 1. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? So 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60, times 2 is 120. This is how to find the factorials. Make sure you could write others. So say like 6 factorials. What is that? 3 factorials. What is that? You could practice by yourself. Now angles, right? So let me write that down. Let me write here a rectangle. Sorry, triangle. So the total angle of a triangle is 180 degrees, right? A lot of times they ask this question. So this angle is say like 50. This angle is 100. And what will be this angle, right? So what you need to do, you need to add these two angles together. So 100 plus 50 is 150, and then subtract from 180. So 180 minus 150, 0. This is 3. So that angle is just 30 degree. Okay. So make sure that how to do this thing. Okay. So total angle of a triangle is 180 degree. Total angle of a rectangle is 360 degrees. Total angle of a circle is 360 degrees. Okay. So that is very much it you have to know for arithmetic reasoning. Okay. So now let's see what you should know about the math knowledge. I think I need to change this one. It's not arithmetic reasoning. It should be math knowledge. I'll fix that. So now let's do how to work with that multiplying variable. So say like you have 3x squared times 5x cubed, right? So how we could deal with this? So multiply 3 times 5 is 15x. So when you multiply variables, you need to add the exponent. So 3 plus 2 is x to the power 5th power, right? So say like, and let me give you another one, 3x squared times 2x squared plus 5x. Okay, so if you want to do that, you have to distribute that. So 3 times 2 is 6, x to the power 4th power plus 3 times 5 is 15, x to the power 3rd power, right? So you cannot add them together because they are not like terms. So this is how to multiply variables. So make sure that you know this. So now see how to divide variables. So say like you have 3x squared y divided by 3x y, x y. Okay, let me just go back a little bit, write clearly. So this y cancel out, because if you divide means you need to subtract the exponent. So you have, it has 1, it has 1. 1 minus 1 is just 0. So 3 cancel out here. So you see here x to the power 2nd power divided by x to the power 1 power, right? So now you could subtract the exponent. So 2 minus 1 is just x. So this is how to divide variables. And the another important thing you could see in the ASVAB is combined algebraic expression. You will get at least 3 or 4 problems like that. So make sure that you learn all these problems similar to that. Okay. So say like you have 3x squared plus 5x plus 7, 5x squared minus 2x minus 3. How to add these two algebraic expression together? So you could do that. You could add, put an add sign in the between, right? So make it simple and easy. So you see this is the like term. Color coded. This is like term. This is like term. And then this is like term. This is like term. This is the like. And this like term, right? So let me write that down. So 3 3x plus 5x is 8x. 8x square plus 5x minus 3x, 2x is 3x, and then 7 minus 3 is 4. So this is how to combine two algebraic expression together. Okay, so now let me give you another one. So select x minus y, 3x minus y minus x plus 5y. Same thing. So 3x minus x is just 2x. 5y minus y is just 4y, right? So this is the thing in here. When you subtract, right, make sure that the sign in front of the number are different. Okay, then subtract it and keep the sign in front of the big number. Okay, that's what I did. So you have to know this thing before you take the test. The most important thing for the math knowledge is solving algebraic expression. You will say like few problem at least in math knowledge section. So let's do few problem. So 3x minus 1 equal to 20. How to solve it? Easy. Let's try to eliminate the constant from one side. So add both side by 1. That's both side by 1. Okay. So you have 3x equal 21 divided 3 divided 3. X equal to just 7. Okay. So you have 5x minus x equal to 2x plus 3. How to do it? Same way. So let's first simplify that. So 5x minus x is 4x equal to 2x plus 3. Now subtract both sides by 2x, right? So 4x minus 2x, that's 2x equal 3. Divide both sides by 2, both sides by 2. If you want to make this improper fraction into mixed number, you could do it. A lot of times they keep the answer like this, right? So that is the answer. And that is very much. So what you need to know in order to take the test. So just I'll highly recommend you to watch this video multiple times and write every single thing I wrote. Okay, and these are the some sample problem. I also posted it on my Instagram page and also Facebook. So if you need any help, you could contact with me. Okay, I'll be happy to help you. Here is my contact information, ASVAB tutoring, and I definitely will be happy to help you. Let's try multiple times to do all this problem. It will change your life. Okay, so and thank you very much, and thank you for watching. So and good luck.